Hi there, it's Karen here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm just popping in to do just a very small haul video. I did a little bit of shopping while I was on holiday, so I just thought I'd show you the little things I got and a couple of things I bought online, and we'll see how long it takes. I was also going to show you some of my vintage postcards that I discovered in some of my mum's things, so it probably won't take very long to do all those, so then we might go on to do a bit of more work on my Boho journal signature, see how things go. So I'll just dive in and just show you. There isn't much, it's only a very small haul. I just bought a few bits and pieces here and there when I saw them. And the first things I saw that I bought were these gorgeous pieces of velvet. I can't resist a haberdashery or a fabric shop when I go anywhere, especially if it's somewhere new, because I don't have a lot of those shops near me. So if I ever go anywhere for a visit and I find one of those shops, I'm straight in there. But there wasn't a lot in this particular shop. I'm trying to remember. I think it was a different shop to where I bought the other bits, but I'm not sure if it was or not. I think it was. I think this was a shop I went down. I was just going to open one of them. This is a beautiful teal colour, and I just thought I'd see how big this piece was, because I haven't actually unravelled them. So I thought we'll just have a quick look and see what I've... Ooh, this is quite a big piece. I think it's bigger than I thought it would be. So it'd be great for journal covers. I've got a few bits on. You always get this with velvety bits. I think little bits of cottony bits on there. But it's a lovely big piece. It goes all right across my board. Look at that. Gorgeous. So lots of things I can do with this. And it would make a stunning journal cover. So that's that one. I'm not going to unravel the other one because it's presumably the same size. I'll just fold that up there. But this one is this lovely olivey green, which is another favourite colour of mine. I love this colour. So yeah, I thought these would be really great for journal covers or making journal cover toppers as well. I've seen Tina at Shabby Dabba Doodah making a lot of journal covers using these kind of fabrics as a base, so I just couldn't resist. So that were the first two things I bought. And then I went into this little haberdashery shop, tiny little shop. I did all sorts of bits and pieces. Mostly I think it was mainly a wool shop, but they did have a few trims, so can't resist the call of the trims and the laces. So I bought all these bits, just a few. I'll come back to that one. So I just bought small quantities. I think this might only be, I think is it a metre? It's either a metre or a half metre, I'm not sure. I thought, well, it's green, it would go on a lot of things. Then I've got this really pretty one. I think I bought 2 metres of this. Such a pretty little daisy trim. I mean, you could put it on the edge of a pocket, cut them up and use them individually. Really like that one. This is the same as the green one, but I think there's more of it. So I think the green one might be half a metre, and I think this is a whole metre. Again, very useful floral trim. And then another little one, which is really tiny flowers. I love my flowers, can you tell? So, yeah, these are like little tiny flowers, which can be cut up or just added to the edge of something, part of a snippet roll or anything like that. So yeah, I think these are just quite useful. And then I left and I bought these things and I went off, and then I thought, actually, and I spotted this and I thought maybe I could use some of this, or some of these flowers anyway, in my boho journal, because I look at the colours. I might not use all of them, but there's certainly colours that I could use because it's really brightly coloured flowers. So I thought maybe I could use some of these in my boho journal. Just here and there, or again on a snippet roll or something like that. So I just bought half a metre of this as well. So there we are. It was all my floral trims. Actually, you know, I forget sometimes what I've bought. Normally I'm after lace, but they didn't have a lot of lace, so I was just looking at all their trims and I thought, well, these would be very usable. So just pop those back in the little bag. I'll put them in my trim box at some point. So that was while I was on holiday, and this is the other, thinking, I don't know what shop it was. I just picked up this bottle of gold acrylic paint. So I don't have any acrylic paint. I think I've got some texture paste or something in gold. but I don't have any just straightforward acrylic paint in gold, so I thought, oh, I just picked that up while I was in the shop, whatever shop it was. And then while I was on holiday, I also did a little order which arrived the day after I got home. I was on my laptop and I thought, oh, I could do with, what was it I was after? I was after some, I was after this. It was the re-inker, the Distress Ink Vintage Photo re-inker. And the place I ended up getting it was a company called Art from the Heart, where they do all the Ranger stuff. They're a really big supplier of Ranger, all Tim Holtz, and all the Dilutions. I got all my Dilutions, paints and stamps and stencils from there, mainly during the pandemic. And they do, you know, every colour you can think of usually. Couldn't get it anywhere else, so I thought, well, while I'm there, while I'm on the website, I've ordered a few other things as well, just to make it worth my while. So I also ordered 2 Tim Holtz stencils. I don't know if you can see that one. It's really glary, isn't it? Let me take it out of this plastic bag. Right, so that's the other one. So I've got this one, which is the letters and numbers. I don't know if it's got a special name. It's not always easy to see the name. Typo, it says. THS 040 Typo is what this one's called. And this one I think is doily or something like that. Just let's have a look. What it says on the back. Yeah, doily. TS018 doily. And that's a layering stencil as well. That's what they call a layering stencil. I just call it a stencil. So yeah, I just got those 2. I thought that might be pretty, and I thought this made a change as well. I haven't got anything like this. So I bought those 2. And one more thing, I bought a stamp by Carabel Studio. And it's this really beautiful stamp. It's got scripts in the back, and it's like a dress form with a dress draped from it. I don't know if you can see, it's got the, oh, maybe if I take it out this packaging it might be easier. Right, so it might be clearer to see now. Again, it's called Dress Form. That's the name of the stamp, Dress Form. So it's got the, it's like a corset here, but it's got a beautiful dress on it, butterfly wings and a butterfly here. It's just a lovely stamp. And I thought, oh, that would be quite fun to use. Actually, I might use that in my boho journal, just in the background. And it's, you know, it's got the script and everything behind it, and it's this rubber stamp. So I'm looking forward to trying that and to use that. So that's the stamp. So there were just the 4 things, including the re-inker, that I bought from Art from the Heart. And then I had one more little order that I placed. I just got an email from this company, which is called, what are they called? I don't remember. I've got it written on here, I think. Here we go. That was with it. Artful Days, that's it, Artful Days. They were doing a 15% off, I think it was, anything to do with Stamperia that they've got. So I didn't really want an awful lot, but I did think it might be quite nice to have some of their rice paper. So I've got this one, which is called Fairy Tales. I'm hoping there's not too much glare. It does seem to bounce off a little bit. Can you see that? I hope you can. Because I really don't want to take these out of the packaging because they're a bit delicate and I don't want them to tear. So if I had to hold it up a bit like that, perhaps that'll be okay. So that's really pretty, isn't it? With that gorgeous fairy and all the beautiful colours. So that's called Fairy Tales, or From the Fairy Tales kit or whatever range. This one is, not sure what this one is called. I think this might be from the sewing collection, which I don't know what it's called. But that's got another one. It's got a dress form and a needle here. But I just wanted some that have got more generic patterns that you could put on as a background. Really, that's what I was looking for. Some sort of background that you could then decorate over the top. So I didn't really want anything too themey. So that's why I picked that one. I mean, the fairy tale one is obviously themey, but I just love the colours and couldn't help myself. And again, this is another one that's fairly generic. It's got sort of damasky designs, some roses and some lines. So it's just very nice and backgroundy, and I thought that was really pretty. So it'd just be lovely to cover something with that, and then it'd be easy to decorate on top of that with whatever you want to, flowers, butterflies, whatever. And this one I think I've got upside down, yes. I think this one is from the sewing, I can't remember what they call it, their sewing collection one, because there seem to be fancy embroidery scissors along one side and then script and some roses, and so it's just really pretty as well. So I just thought that would be another one that's fairly neutral and would make quite a good background. So that is my little haul. As you see, I didn't buy lots. Oh no, I haven't finished. I haven't finished from the same order. I did actually buy some stamps as well. So there's this one. Right, see if I can get this out without ripping the packaging, because that's what I usually end up having to do. I'm terrible at getting these things out. Yep, come on, out you can. There we go. So there's this little one, and is that the right way around? No, that is the right way around. So it is like a little bit of ledger and a bit of script, I think, and a bird. And these are just little background stamps. They're only small. I think they were $1.99. I mean, they're really quite inexpensive. It's called Old Receipt. So that just goes there. So they were really just small little stamps. But if you're doing a tag or something, say I was using the some of the rice paper and covered it, and then you could use this little bit of stamp and just stamp on it. It would work really well on a journal card or a tag. So I just thought these little ones were quite nice. And at $1.99, couldn't resist. So that is called Old Receipt. This one is called Love Potion. Not quite sure why it's called Love Potion. It just seems to be roses and script. So I'm just going to get this one out. So it's got a big rose here and some leaves and some script in the background. So I think Love Potion. It's not too particularly love related. It's just pretty. So there's that one. And this one is called, let's see if I can get this one out as well. This one is called Solar and Lunar. So it's just a little astronomy table, I think it is. So it's just tiny numbers in columns. I mean, you're not going to be able to read any of it or anything like that. Again, they're just background stamps. I just thought they were nice. A bit different for me. I haven't got anything like this. I keep looking at the Ranger, the Tim Holtz stamps that he does, because I've only got one set, and that's the field notes, which I do use quite a bit. But he's got several stamps where he just does this kind of thing, but they are so expensive. I just couldn't bring myself to buy one. Where when I saw these, I thought, well, actually, you get the same effect on a much smaller scale, but $1.99 a piece. I thought, well, mad not to, really, isn't it? So that's my little haul. That's the last little bit that I got. So as I say, I didn't spend a lot because I don't have a lot, but it's just nice to buy a few little different bits when you see them, especially if they're not, they're not too expensive. So the other thing I just thought I might, while I'm doing a haul, even though it's not really a haul as such, but I was recently going through some of my mum's stuff. I did a lot of clearing out of her stuff when she first, after she died, and that was quite a long while ago now. And I have had some of her photographs. A lot of them I'd sorted through, and I've been putting into scrapbooks and things like that. But some of these things, particularly the postcards, I hadn't really looked at. And she's got a big postcard album, specifically for keeping old postcards in. Now, most of that album, I have just filled it, and I'm keeping it because it's all of the postcards in that album are actually family postcards, in that they were sent, I think, from my great-great-grandmother, either to her, most of them are to her, from, I think, either her niece or her sister-in-law. I haven't quite worked out the connection, but I know they're family members from probably the late 19th century, earlier 20th. Most of them are dated very early 1900s, so 1904, 1906, that sort of time. And if they had her name on it, I've kept it because they are family history, really. There's even one there that I found that's been signed by my nan, Bessie, and it just says love from Bessie, and she must have been quite young. She would have been possibly 10 or 11 when she wrote it, maybe in her teens. I'm not quite sure what the date on it was. And that was her, that was my nan. So, yeah, they're rather precious, and some of them are really beautiful. But there were a whole bunch that were clearly not to family related as such. They may have been written by friends of the family, but not people I know. So I just picked up, I'm not going to show you them all, because as you can see, there's an awful lot. Some of them have got no writing on the back of them at all, like these. But you can see how old well, I don't know if you can see how old they are. All a bit discoloured. I mean, they look like they've been coffee dyed, except they haven't. This is just how they came. They are old postcards. And you can tell by the pictures on the front anyway. So I just thought I'd show you a few of my favourites, really. Or some of the ones that I thought had some sort of meaning to me or resonated in any way. So, as you may have seen when I put one of these old postcards in my little folio, one of Southend Pier, I think. And this is another postcard. Look at that old picture of Southend Pier. It's a really old, I mean, it's not so much a photograph as a drawing, really, a representation of Southend-on-Sea and the pier. And again, this is a very old, I don't know if it's an old snapshot, because they tended to turn photographs into postcards in those days. And this is of something called the Kursaal, which was the amusement arcade in town. I mean, I remember it as a child. It's still there in Southend. It's undergone a number of changes over the years. I remember we used to go in there, and they used to have some roller coasters and things inside there in the very, very early days. But it kind of went into disrepair, and it's been refurbed, and it's gone through a number of changes. But this is really old, this picture. This must go back to its very early days, probably its heyday. I don't know whether it's a Victorian thing. I mean, unfortunately there's no actual date on the postcard, because there's no stamp. Some of them, if they've been used, they've got a date on them. So it just says that inland, so to send it inland, you need a stamp that's half an old penny, so a halfpenny. So it'd be a halfpenny stamp, as we used to call it in the pre-decimal days. And if it was going abroad, it would need a whole penny stamp to send it abroad. That's what it says on the back there. And this is another beachy one, or seaside one, on the sands at Galston. So again, a really old, I don't think it's a photograph, it looks like some sort of drawing or painting. And this one again, this is Brighton. So there's loads of, as you would expect. I mean, we always send them, if you go to the seaside, you send a postcard, don't you? So a lot of these postcards come from the seaside. This one has been written on. Actually, this is one to Mrs. Cooling, which is my great-great-grandmother. But I think I didn't keep it because it's very, very faint and hard to read. And I have got quite a few that are much easier to read. Somebody called Nancy sent this to her. And the date on this, so this has got a postmark on it. And it's 1907, August the 16th, 1907, this was sent. So it's rather lovely. And that was from Clacton-on-Sea, which is on the the Essex coast. This is Tilbury Fort. Tilbury Fort is very near where I grew up, and it's still there. I actually went to visit it a few years ago with Richard, Tilbury Fort, but this is a very old picture of it, or drawing, not quite sure. But yeah, Tilbury Fort's still there. I was quite surprised to see this. And this was from 1906. And this is to Mrs. Dyke. Now, I don't know who she is, but she appears a lot. There's lots of postcards, either from her or to her, this Mrs. Dyke, and I don't think she's a relation. So that's just been written to her. Dear Sis, so sorry, shall I come up tomorrow? Do you think it would be better for him to come home? Or do you think it would be better for him to come home? So I don't know what that's all about, and it's just signed Mother. So it's just quite interesting. There's some whole variety of them now that's got some sort of... this one's got a cigarette card stuck on the front of it. And it's Dockhouse, Thames, Haven, which again is very near where I lived. And there's again a Hate Me stamp needed. This is a London one, Piccadilly Circus, a really old picture of Piccadilly Circus. It's with horse-drawn carriages and everything. That's quite an interesting one. That's another one to Mrs. Dyke from Mother. And there's just a few more, just old scenes really, very old scenes. Yarmouth, a seaside one. That's a really beautiful one, I think. And then there's quite a few with photographs, very old photographs of these girls. Look like they're dressed as girl guides, perhaps, I'm not sure. And that doesn't say anything on the back about it, but it's clearly a photograph, an old one. And you've got the little boy. I mean, I'm sure maybe this is the sort of thing that Tim Holtz gets some of his images from, these old postcards, I don't know. But that's what they are, they're just old postcards. I've got loads more actually. I've got these, which I'll show you in a second because they're just beautiful. But I've got a load more pictures of people. No idea who they are. This is Dear Friend. Oh, Mrs. Cooling. That's Mrs. Cooling. She was a friend. So that, don't know whether that's anybody. Thank you for your kind letter. Hope to see you on Saturday. Anyway, I don't know who that is. If it says no, it doesn't. Never tells you who these people are. But that's August 07. That's again. So that's just a photograph of a person who could be anybody. I did find these two, which are rather good. That's King George, I believe. Well, or is it? Or is it Edward the 7th? That's a thought. It looks a bit like King. Well, again, no date. So it's, yeah, this could be the Edward the 7th and his queen, who was called, I did know her name, Alexandra, I think. It just says His Majesty the King and Her Majesty the Queen. And they're glittered and everything. Can you see? There's glitter on the crown, glitter on her necklace. First of all, I thought it was George V and Queen Mary, but she looks too young. He looks about the age I've seen pictures of him, but Queen Mary would have been much older. So I think this must be his father, Edward the 7th, and Queen Alexandra, I believe, because she would have been, I think, a bit younger than the king. I'm not absolutely sure, because I haven't seen many pictures of them, but I think that might be who they are. So the son of Victoria and his wife. So yeah, they're rather good, aren't they? They've not been written on or anything. I just like them. They're quite thick. They're really thick, these ones. So they're a bit different. But then these are all just random. This is the Queen of Spain, apparently. This one here, Queen of Spain, it says. To Mrs. Dyke, from Willie, whoever that is. This is, in comparison, this is really thin. This one is almost like paper, this one, very thin. And there's somebody who looks like he was in the Navy. And then a rather formidable looking lady. A few young girls in their very old-fashioned swimming costumes. A baby in his pushchair. I'm sure there's a picture of me like this. So, don't know when it's from. No, not written on. But yeah, just a random baby. Somebody all dressed up. She looks dressed up in her finest. This is the sort of picture you'd see in the Tim Holtz packaging, wouldn't you? Somebody dressed up like this. And another girl in her, possibly as a girl guide. That looks like the sort of thing. You know, she's got a knotted scarf and a beret. I don't know who that is. I just thought they were interesting, all these. I definitely want to use these in some of my journals. There's an interesting looking gentleman. Another baby. So, yeah. And then there's a whole load more, which I won't go through them all, but you're getting the idea that they're all from very much similar, right at the beginning of the 20th century, very early 20th century. These all must have been bought. Don't know how my mum got all these, whether they were hers, whether they were passed down to her. Clearly the family ones have been kept. Must have been kept by my nan. She must have passed them on. But where all these other ones that have not been written on came from, I don't know, but they may have all just been passed down. People maybe just bought them and didn't send them. I really don't know. I never got a chance to ask her about them because I never knew she had them. And then there's just a whole lot of really beautiful ones. These more like birthday cards. So they're prettier. So there's that one. And this one is Miss something or other. These are all just birthday cards, and this one I can't see the. Oh no, there's the date. 1933. This one. So yeah, I don't know where that came from. Another birthday one. They're really just pretty, and it's all embossed around the edge. And this one is with love from Aunt Green, or Aunt something. All good wishes on your birthday, but no date on that one. Another birthday one. Right, good time on your birthday. Lovely. It's really pretty. They're all embossed around around the edge, which is so lovely. Another just birthday wish, but no date. This one says greetings from, and the word is written in sort of glitter. Ardroton or something. I'm not quite sure what it says, but that's rather nice. Oh, that's written on. When's that from? Don't know if I can see the date. Could be 07 again. Very, very faint writing. Greetings from East Ham. And then this rather beautiful one, it's just a floral one, doesn't have any writing on it, and it's not written on the back, but it's rather lovely, so I've got that too. And then there's a whole bunch of others. Some of them are these more cartoony ones. There's quite a few of those. Various places. There's one with a ship, so there's just a whole bunch, but I won't go through them all because we'll be here all day. So that's my postcard. So I will be using some of these, I think, in my journal. So I don't suppose I'll use all of them. Some of the ones that I already had, that I already found before, which were the ones, mostly the family ones, I've scanned quite a lot of those. So I have got them, and I think I may have scanned some of these ones as well, just so that I can reuse them and not worry about using the originals. But there's so many, especially the ones that haven't been written on. They might as well just be used. So I think I'm just going to pop them into journals here and there, as it feels right. So there we are. There's all my old postcards. So that's my little haul. Right, so it hasn't taken a lot of time to go through those, and I will probably edit out some of my wrestling with the packaging, but I've got a bit of time left, so I may come back and just do a little bit more work on my signature, because there's a couple of pages that still need to be decorated, so maybe I'll come back and do that at the end of this video. So I may see you shortly. Bye for now. I am back. It's the next day, and I thought I would take a little bit of time to do some work on the signature. This one you saw me put together the other day, and I need to decorate this side and this side and finish this off, because this needs a bit more reinforcing, really, because it's quite thin paper. So I thought it looks a bit odd like that anyway, so I'm going to put something there. Haven't decided quite what yet, but I think I know what I want to do on the back of here, and I've been thinking about this quite a bit. But I think the best thing to do is just to do a little bit of collage on here. Not too much, just a little bit, just to cover it, really. So I picked out a few bits, because I don't want this video to go on for too long, as I've already used up half of it. I'm afraid it is a little bit of a disjointed, bit of a bitty sort of video. Kind of a bit of a stopgap, really, because I've caught up with myself, because I filmed ahead to cover my holiday, and haven't really got ahead since, so I'm just about keeping ahead of the next video at the moment. And as there's such a lot going on with the house move and other stuff going on, I'm really having a bit of trouble just trying to keep ahead of the one video at a time. So I'm doing this one as a filler, so I've got time to think about my next video and do something a little bit more enjoyable to watch, I think. So but I thought, well, this needs to be done, so I'm going to get this done in this video, and then we'll do a little bit of work on the other one that's got to be decorated in the next video. So yeah, so I think I wanted to use a bit of this, but just a small part of it. So I think if I go round it with the water brush and just go round to the piece that I want to use, just wondering which side, which bit. Actually, it might be better to do this side, maybe. Yeah, maybe that side would be better. Yeah, I might do that. just got my little mat so I can use my water brush. So one of the things that kept us very busy over the weekend was we had our little Lissy for a sleepover all by herself for the first time ever. On Saturday night, Mum and Dad went out and said, could we look after her? And we said, well, yeah, obviously we were happy to do it because we've not done that for quite a long while. And then we let her decide where she wanted to be, whether she wanted us to come and stay with her at her house, which we kind of thought she might prefer to do, or whether she wanted to come here and stay with us by herself. And she decided she'd come here. And we went to pick her up with our overnight suitcase, thinking she's going to change her mind for sure. When it comes to the moment of leaving, she's going to decide she doesn't want to go. But she didn't. She came. She was really looking forward to it, very excited, and came away with us without a backward glance, which surprised us no end, because she doesn't like to be away from her mummy too much. But yeah, she came with us, and she was lovely. She was good as gold. We played, and she ate her food. We had a really nice time with her until bedtime came. Yeah, I mean, she went up all right, and we had a story and did all the routine that she knows and is familiar with, and no trouble at all. But once she got into bed, she wasn't going to go to sleep ever. She was going to stay up all night, apparently. There was no way she was going to settle down. She was just way overexcited and wasn't planning to sleep anytime soon. And but we just stayed up there. We didn't let her come down. We just took turns to sit with her and talk to her and whatever you have to do. Right, let me just think about what I'm going to put here. So is that going to go in there like that? Just need to make sure I cover everything. So that could go in like that. I think that'd be okay. Yeah, so in the end, she conked out at 20 to 11. That was our evening, completely gone, but that was okay. I mean, this is the first time she's ever done it, and she didn't really start getting upset until it was getting quite late, and she was clearly tired. And she started wanting mummy, but that wasn't her first instinct, really. Her first instinct was, I just want to play. And I want to stay up and have fun. And so we had to just be patient and wear her down, and eventually she couldn't help herself. She just conked out. So that was okay. And then we thought, oh, well, how's she going to be when she wakes up in the morning? Is she going to be all upset and wanting mummy? She woke up happy as Larry. Wasn't even in a hurry to go home. So I think it was just being overexcited, and she got a little bit over the top and a bit hyper and couldn't settle. She couldn't let herself go. But she was absolutely fine. So it was a good experience, I think, for all of us, really, because it showed that it can be done and we can survive. And she was happy. She was perfectly happy to be here, so that was lovely. And we did some crafting, and she had so much fun with using my water brush, because I thought, well, that at least contains the mess. And what have I done with them? She also had, which I had, they were just here just now. Oh, there they are. The water brush and my distress crayons. That's what she enjoyed playing with. She played with that on Saturday afternoon when she first came, and Sunday morning before she went home. She thought they were great fun. And there's still a bit left. She hasn't used it all up, but she has so much fun with that, and that was lovely. I'll show you her masterpieces at the end if I have time. But yeah, she did enjoy herself with that. Now, do I put that on top? Maybe that'd be something to just vary the levels a bit. So I think what I want to do first is glue down this piece. So it's just using up some of the scraps, but they're all pieces that I've used elsewhere, so it's keeping it all the same. I love this all these beautiful Florentine papers, and I've been a bit reluctant to use them, I suppose. Just because once you've used them, they're gone, aren't they? I'm sure she'll sell them again. These are the ones from Rachel. And I've still got loads left. But these are the colours that I love the most, and so I was sort of more reluctant to use them in a way, but they're the ones I'm more likely to actually want to use in my journals because they're the colours I tend to go towards, tend to want to use more, I suppose. So I thought, well, I'm just going to have to do it. Just use them. Because you can't hang on to things forever. They need to be used. Now I can't find my... Oh, well, I'll use this. I didn't get my baby wipes out. And I can't remember what I've done with them now. I've got the new packet. I've got an old packet that's nearly finished, and I keep forgetting what I've done with it. Did I put it in here? No, that's where it's been before, but... Just get this at the ready. Okay. And I'm just going to straighten up this edge, I think. It's just gone a bit wobbly, and I think because I want it up against the... slightly up against, towards the join, almost at the join, to cover up some of that straw paper. I can leave a bit of it showing, but I don't want too much of it showing. Yep. See if I need all of that, if I can keep some of it. That'll be alright, because this will go over it and it will go transparent when it's stuck down anyway, so it'll still show through a little bit, which is what I want. Okay. Yeah, so bless her, she was so good and so much fun. We'd been clearing out the loft in preparation to our move, of course. That may or may not happen ever, if we ever find a house. And we found a load of soft toys. A lot of which we got rid of, but there were some that we thought she might like to play with. And we also found some sort of building, they're not Lego bricks, they're more like big, like wheels and nuts and bolts that you could make little vehicles with, that Hannah remembers playing with and loving as a child. I didn't even remember we had it. But that came out the loft as well, and Alyssa had a wonderful time building a little buggy for her dollies, and the new toys that we'd got out the loft, the other, the soft toys. What have I done with scissors? Yeah, she had a lovely old time with all the soft toys, which she adored, because she loves cuddly toys, absolutely loves them. So we knew they'd be popular, but she loved the bricks as well, and screwing in the screws and putting the wheels on and all of that with Grandad. She really enjoyed that, so that was really fun. And we do our bit of crafting, which is also loads of fun. She comes in here, she has a poke around and sees what she can find, and I'm going, oh no, not that bit, not that bit. But I thought, well, I did have an idea that she could play with those and they wouldn't, wouldn't make too much of a mess if we used a water brush. So I said, what about playing with this? And she said, oh, yeah, because that was different. Oh no, I think I might put, that's going to break there, isn't it? I'm going to have to put the glue on here. Let's see. Where's it going to go? Kind of up here a bit. Oops. So in between all of that, we went to see 3 houses this weekend, all of which had a lot to offer, and we had kind of to decide which one we liked the best and which one we might even consider making an offer on, because they all had things that we really liked, and we got really close to making an offer on one of them. And then we went back for a second viewing yesterday on this particular one, thinking, we just had to check on a few things and it would it was, you know, we thought it was a pretty good option. But when we went back, we realised that I think we'd kind of enlarged the whole house in our heads overnight somehow. And when we went back, we were looking around and we thought, we just can't get our furniture in here. Some rooms were fine. Some rooms were, oh, I've got 2 layers. I thought I'd already removed all the layers. That was, oh, that's a bit annoying. Oh well, hopefully it won't peel away. I thought I took the 2 layers off, but clearly I must have missed the one closest. So it's just peeling off, isn't it? Oh, that's very annoying. Okay, let's see if I can take some of this off. So at least some of it sticks straight down. And I'll just have to glue it onto here, won't I? Well, some of it's coming away, that's good. Oh, there you are, a lesson in how not to prepare your napkin. Let's try again. Make sure I haven't got any lumps and bumps. At least I can see how far up I need to go with the glue. Let's see how I can get it to stick on properly this time. Get it in the right place. Of course, this is going to make life difficult. It won't glue where I want it to glue. Right, I think we're in place now. Yep. This feels like a how not to video. Or how to put your mistakes right. I suppose that might be interpreted that way too. It worked out okay in the end. I'm just going to glue this last little bit down. I think it's worked out right in the end. I thought it wasn't looking as transparent as I thought it would, but I thought, oh, once it's glued down it will. But it wasn't fab, it was because there was still another layer. Now, that's better. Okay, so then the last thing I want to put on is this odd piece here, just to cover that corner. No, not that glue. I like this glue for these larger pieces, for these sort of things. I do find that using the glue stick just warps the papers too much. And it doesn't seem to warp as much with the wet glue for some reason. You know, you'd think it would really, wouldn't you? You'd think it would warp more with the wet glue, as it seems wetter than the glue stick, but that doesn't seem to be the case. When I use the tacky glue, that goes down, it doesn't seem to warp nearly so much. Okay. That's that page. I like that. I think that looks nice and bright. And it's going to it won't be against this, because obviously that's going to be in the other half of the signature. It will have this bit next to it, which I think works quite well. You've got the big flower here and then the little roses here. So I think that will look okay. We'll see how it looks back in the journal when I've done the other side. So let's have a go at this side. Now I think what I want to do with this piece is just this little piece here. Obviously I've got this bit which reinforces it. Looks like I almost glued that down and changed my mind. And I thought, well, actually before I do glue it down and make it into a little tuck spot, I will cover this and reinforce the paper. So I've got two options and I haven't quite made my mind up yet. Let's just put the top on here. So I can't quite make my mind up whether to go a little bit more neutral. So I'm going to just tear it down and see how it looks once I've again with the paper that's already there. I don't really want it too straight. I'd like it to be a bit more freeform, I think. Just makes it a bit more interesting. It's very freeform at the moment. So that would go in like that, and then I'd go. Let's just tear that up and make that the right height. That piece, which I do quite like that. I'll go like that. But I could go completely the other way. Bring in a splash of colour, which is also definitely an option. Have a look, see how that looks there. I might have to ink this because I've ended up with a bit of a white edge here, but I thought I was going to go for the neutral, but actually I like this. I do like that in that place, so I think that's what I'm going to go for. Sometimes you just can't quite tell which one you think is going to look better until you try it. Or audition it, as Rachel calls it from Roxy Creations. She's always talking about auditioning things and trying to decide. She's right, you do need to look at things, how they look in when they're finished. And yeah, I'm just going to do a little inking down that edge because I've ended up with a bit of a white edge, which I don't like. I'm not going to worry too much about inking everything in this journal because it's all about colour. It doesn't have to be too... I mean, a lot of it already looks vintagey anyway, so I'm not going to go mad on inking everything unless it looks like it needs it, which this one did. I may end up doing more than I plan. You never know when it looks... Sometimes things don't look quite finished until they've got a bit of an inky edge, because that kind of sometimes just gives them makes them stand out a little bit more. We'll see. Alright, so I'm going to put that there. And I've just got to glue down the flap. And I think for this I'd rather use the art glitter glue, just because you can get a finer bead of glue if it comes out. It's been so cold here lately. I was back in my winter clothes. Winter jumpers come out again. It was freezing yesterday, and so today Richard's gone into work, into London. He tries to do that once a week, and shamefully 31st of May I put the heating on, because we were doing other stuff yesterday, we didn't put the heating on. We just had the fire on in the living room in the evening when it felt really chilly. But we didn't put the heating on during the day. But today I thought, that's it, I've had enough. Had enough of being cold. It's silly, you know, just because it's May, it just felt so, you know, it just makes you feel all kind of like you don't want to do anything, you don't want to move when you get too cold. I'm always cold anyway. So I had just put the heating on for the day, and hopefully that'll be just today, and then we can turn it off again. Do that little flap down. Just got to trim a little bit off at the bottom here. Put there. And maybe a touch off the top. That's it. And a little bit sticking out at the bottom as well. Down here. Okay, there they are. Now I do keep having the urge to round these corners. I think because it's card and it's thicker, I feel like the corners need to be rounded. And actually that's not even level. Look at that, it's not even straight. But because they're not going to be together in the journal, I'm not going to worry about that. But this one just seems to stick out a little bit further. Do around the corners. Yeah, I'm going to. I feel like it needs it because it's a shorter one. I don't know why, I just feel I want to do that. Which I've got to do it that way. Being a lefty, I need to do it with my left hand. Did that work? Oh, it's because it's got the... I'll have to come back and trim that a bit because it's got the napkin, didn't go through the napkin. And then I'm going to do this one as well. Corner. I do like rounded corners, what can I say? Probably round them all if it made sense to round all the corners of my journal, but it doesn't make sense, I'm not going to do it. There we are. Okay, so that's done. I'm just going to put it back in the journal. I think I may have rearranged things even since the last video because I have a tendency to do that. I put a signature together and then I keep moving things around thinking, oh no, that doesn't go and that doesn't go. So we'll do a proper look at it when I'm finished. So in the next video I will be decorating the back of this page here, and I may just cover it with some dyed paper, keep it simple so I can then decorate that, maybe put some stenciling or some stamping on it. Well, that's probably what I'll do, and hopefully that won't take too long. And then I'll have to think about in advance whether that is the time to sew in the signature. That's the scary part because I haven't done that for a long time. Or whether there's more things that would be easy to do before it gets sewn in. I'm not sure yet, so I'll have to think about that. Maybe actually decorating the envelopes as well might make sense before I sew in the signatures, so I might do that as well in the next video. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do today. I will quickly, just because I said I would, show you Alyssa's masterpiece. So this is the wax, the distress crayons with a water brush. So this is on watercolour paper. So she did this. This was the first one she did. She just goes for it, but she really went for it with and she liked mixing the colours and using the water brush. And then the next day she decided she'd even pimp it up a bit, and she wanted buttons. It was all her idea. She wanted to glue buttons on it, and it wouldn't glue because this was all still wet. So I said, well, if you do it on the white bits, it will stick. So that's what she did. Yeah, so some of them have already fallen off, but there's still enough there, and I just think, oh well, I think I should put them when she did it. I think I'll write that in the corner. See what happens if it survives. But she has so much fun, and I really enjoyed doing that with her. Yep. So that's her little artwork, which may well end up on our fridge. I don't know. It's probably going to be a bit heavy with all those buttons, which are still falling off. Right. So thank you very much for joining me for this rather strange video. There has a bit of everything in it. Perhaps we'll be a bit more coherent in the next video, and a bit more cohesive perhaps with what I'm doing. So bye for now, and thank you for joining me.